grab your glue gun and ribbon. It's time to create at the Home Decor Crafters Summit. Enjoy 35 inspiring workshops led by talented speakers. We have amazing giveaways that are happening now. Register today for your chance to win and get your free ticket today. And if you want to keep the workshops, upgrade to the VIP ticket for lifetime and instant access with exclusive bonuses. So grab your glue gun and let's stick together for some crafty fun at the Home Decor Crafters Summit. Hello, we're back. All right, so today's session, we're here to talk about tips for crafting with recycled things or recycled treasures or junk, depending on who you talk to, right? And with me today, I have three of our speakers. So we have Erin with Erin Makes, and then Elizabeth Road Studio, and Lucy Foxworth with Paper Glitter Glue, right?
Yes.
See, I've looked at everybody's names so much now that I feel like we're all best friends. All right. If you are in the comments, say hello. Don't forget to give our speakers that have joined us here some love. And we're going to dive in. First, let's do an introduction. So I think we'll just all go around and say, just say your name, say your business name, and then give us a quick little tidbit about yourself. Elizabeth, would you like to start?
Sure. I'm happy to start. I'm Elizabeth with Elizabeth Road Studios. I'm located in Kentucky. Everybody's saying where they're from, so I love seeing everywhere, all over the U.S. I am a glass and resin artist and a watercolorist, and I love to use recycled, reclaimed objects in my artwork. I've got some up here behind me that you can see, and I'll show you closer up later. You'll see in my project that I'm teaching this week the different recycled items that I use. And my favorite place to shop for reclaimed, recyclable items is our local charity sale that benefits women and children. It is the Potter Children's Home charity sale. So that's my favorite place to go. And I know y'all have them in your hometown too, but that's my favorite.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. I'm excited to sit down and actually do your session. I feel like I've watched them all, and now I need to go back as Shelly the crafter, not Shelly the event host. And
you deserve that. You deserve that.
Oh, thanks. All right, Lucy, do you want to jump in and tell them a little bit about yourself?
Yes. My name is Lucy Foxworth, and I'm from Greenville, South Carolina. And where the weather's been surprisingly cold, but basically no snow. We love snow in the South because it's so rare. So the big snow went south of us. We were very disappointed, but happy for them because they had fun with it. But anyway, I do paper crafts, and I've always loved paper. And so when I started, I used all recycled paper. And that's one reason I signed up for this particular event, because I just love paper. And in terms of where do I get it? It just comes to my house, it's like your Chewy box or whatever. That's where I get them. And so I try to think of whatever I can using paper stuff.
Awesome. And it's Paper Glitter Glue, right?
Paperglitterglue.com. Yes.
Perfect. All right, Erin.
We're having some echoey issues, so we're keep muting and unmuting ourselves to make sure you guys don't hear some crazy background side effects. So hey everybody, I'm Erin Reed from Erin Reed Makes, and I create a lot of different things. I like to dabble in paper crafts, I like to do mixed media, I like to do home decor, sublimation. Pretty much if I can get my hands into something, that's what I like to do. My attention span is like a flea, so I like to jump from one thing to another and to get them fast, fun, easy, quick crafts I can do in under 30 minutes. And so grabbing things that I can upcycle, recycle, revamp, retool is just a ton of fun. And I'm going to plug myself real fast. I have a retreat coming up, and so you can check out my website. And for all the other speakers that we have going on for all of the sessions, there's links down in the information section, so you can click on them and jump over to their sites and check out all of their cool videos if they have them, events coming up, all those kinds of fun things. So make sure you go give all of our speakers some love in all of our live sessions. Their links are down in the info section. But there we go. That's me.
Awesome. Thanks.
I appreciate it. And thanks for the reminder about your links. If you're on Facebook, they're above you. And if you're on YouTube, they're below the video. And, I just realized that I never introduced myself personally on the live we had a little bit ago. So if we haven't met yet, I'm Shelly from We Can Make That. And I am your host for the Home Decor Crafters Summit this year. And I'm excited to jump into this session and talk about treasures. I love to go get canvases from the local thrift stores and then take them home, take them apart. I mean, if you like the art they sell at, I don't know, Kohl's or one of those stores where it's like a wrapped canvas and it's a really cute picture. And then after a few years, you kind of get sick of it, or you find them really cheap for a couple bucks at a garage sale. And then I like to do some fun things with them. So I have a couple of those tutorials on the blog. But let's jump in now and talk about, does everybody brought an example, right? Everybody brought a show and tell. Okay. All right, Erin, do you want to jump in first?
Okay, just double checking that we're all muted so you guys don't hear some crazy feedback. I'm going to say that probably every time, so sorry about that. I was unboxing a new machine. I just got a new machine, a different kind of electronic cutter. And as I was unboxing it, I found this awesome little piece. It was like on the end cap of it, and my brain is going nuts. So I haven't done anything with it yet, but this is a prime example of something like, I can't throw this away because my brain's going, is it a crown? Like, what am I going to do with this? I don't know. Or could I break it apart and use it for something? Somebody's also saying it was really good for like in your gerbils or hamsters because it's paper and they like to nest in there anyway. But that's where my brain goes when I see these cool things. I also absolutely love jars, and so this is one I did from a long time ago. It's one of those wee jars. That's the yogurt. I think we all love the shape of the jar. I don't know about you guys, but it's like one of my favorite shapes of the jars. And I just did some stained glass. So I got some paints and just kind of create a little mosaic. Another variation of a jar, I just put vinyl on it after frosting it. So there's endless. These are just really fast and easy crafts, like I said, super fast. But there's so many things that you can upcycle, and you just have to kind of look at it from a different perspective. And I gravitate towards jars. So I'm going to throw the question back to the other speakers as they get there. What are your favorite things to hang on to? Like, I have too many jars. My husband's like, seriously, you need to get rid of some of your jars because it's getting insane in my little workroom. But what do you gravitate towards keeping and hanging on to? And I'll throw the question back to everybody else.
Sorry, I had to hit the unmute box button. Yes, I agree. I love the comment somebody put in there about the good box. It's a good box. Like, that's, I don't know. First time I said that, I felt like my mother. You got to keep that. That's a good box. But yes, I love those kind of recycled items that you can repurpose and make cuter and keep it out of the landfill, right? Okay, Lucy, do you want to go next?
Yes, I would love to go next. Like I said, it's almost all paper crafts for me. So when I first started, I actually used to eat cereal, but now I don't eat cereal because too many carbs. So I miss the boxes, but cereal boxes are just great boxes for crafting. I make little houses. That's pretty much what I always make. And so cereal box cardboard is a perfect thickness to cut out the crafts I like. And then one fun thing is, if you like art stuff, and if you're like me, you can't help but buy these pads. The cardboard on the back of your pads is just phenomenal cardboard. It's heavy cardboard, so if you have a Cricut, you have to cut it with a knife blade. But also, even the front piece is a good piece of paper. And if you're going to paint it, and I like to paint my stuff, then you can even use the cover piece for it. And then I've made a lot of crafts out of like pasta boxes. I had to give up pasta too. Pasta boxes, and I just found one example, but this is basically a pasta box, and I made little doors, and I lined it so it looks like it's the inside of a barn. And yeah, so that's it. But then this is a cheese box, and I put my little windmill on it. So, if you give it to somebody, you got like a little, you could put a little treat and a message in there, and you're reusing your cheese box. I know everybody, just like talking about good boxes, you can't help but save your cheese boxes. And then jars. Yeah, I have a problem with jars too. So these are my tiny houses on mason jars. So these are like little mason jars. And so it's decorative, but you could add just like a piece of double stick tape, and then you make an ornament and just, so you can leave it on the jar if you want, or you can have it as an ornament. And let me see what else. Oh, and this one, I saw somebody added something in the bottom, and then they put bottle brush trees. And wait, I think I have them here. Maybe not. You put, you just hammer right in the middle, one nail hole, and then you put these cool little handle on it, and it just makes a cute decoration. Or you could use like old salt shakers. Use an old salt shaker. And you can have like a whole display of a forest, but it's kind of cool that your bottle brush trees are in there. So I was going to show you this. I'll do this real fast. This one is a pickle jar. Now I like that because it's easier to put my little house in it. And some people use salt and sugar, but I just have a problem using edible stuff. So I put Epsom salts. And here's just one little tip. If you want to make like a little diorama, maybe you've got some little figures and you want to display them in one of your jars. If you'll put a circle on the bottom that's heavier, then it's much easier to like put it in. They won't tip over as much. So yeah, and just like we save jars and stuff, I know at some point you bought some little handles. You're like, oh, I'm going to put that on that drawer, but you haven't ever put them on that drawer. So all you do is just hammer a nail, a hole with your nail in the center of the lid, paint the lid, and then screw the little handle in. And it's just a cute display. That's just a cute display. Okay. So the other thing is, I want to show you this because this is like one of my favorites. First, I'll show you the materials. I have a whole box of brown packing paper. Sometimes I pre-tear it, sometimes I don't. Cats like to play with this too. So that, here I found my little handles. There, those are little handles. And again, cats. This is nice cardboard. It's corrugated cardboard, but it's coated on one side, so it's really strong. Okay, so let me show you what I did with this. This is not decorated yet, but I made this tree stump, and what it's for is I put creepy crawlies on the outside, like little snakes and bugs and stuff, and then I hang a piece of cheesecloth here. And in order to get your Halloween candy, you have to reach through all the creepy crawlies to get it. And it is amazingly strong. There's a piece of poster board underneath, but you can hear how strong it is. And so it's like a little tree stump. And then after I was thinking about it, I'm like, you can make like a little tree stump stool for a kid, just all with recycled stuff. And, it's just fun. So those are the crafts. I tried not to take too much time, but yeah, it's just, I look around. Oh, and then you go to Home Depot and you're like, I can use that in my crafts. So anyway, it's somebody else's turn.
Those were all so cute. I love it. That was great. And the candy tray trunk, the candy trunk, that was cute. I can't believe you made that. Yeah, I can't believe you made that out of paper. That's awesome. All right, Elizabeth.
Okay, are you ready? I am absolutely fascinated with all of that, Lucy. That is just so cool. Okay, so I am focused on glass and resin. So any kind of glass, and you can even use plastic too. So these I get from the Catholic Church that's just down the road. This is what their communion wine comes in. They save these for me because this is a great color green. I break this up using nippers. You could also, these are like nippers that I use, but you can, these are like $15 on Amazon, but you can also just break it with a hammer. I'll show you one thing that we just did in my membership group yesterday. we made this, which would be so fun on a bar cart or for like an engagement gift or to celebrate New Year's or graduation or something like that. This actually was our bottle of champagne from Christmas morning. And then this was the top to a different bottle, but I was able to make it work and it looks like it's all the same one. And then I used this tray that you can just get. This is like some kind of organization tray. So that was kind of fun, to use. I also pick up bottles anywhere I go. These were from the Dollar Tree, I think, this glass and this bottle. So I break these kind of things up. These I break up. I like to use them even if they're already a little bit chipped or a little bit broken, but sometimes you have one random piece out of a set. So I will break this up and I'll be able to use this as little pieces in a bunch of different pieces of art. Some of these things you might recognize. This was a little bowl that I broke in half and then broke it again to make these wings. So, and then this is part of a shower door. This is all tempered glass. So I even save shower doors. I have a friend that's a tile mason. Is that what tile? He's a tiler. And he'll call me and he'll say, I've got a really good clean shower door. And so he'll drop it off or we'll pick it up and I'll use that in lots of different things. These are from an old hymnal. At our thrift stores, any kind of religious books are free. So, and you can take as many as you want. So sometimes they'll have hymnals. So I put the hymnal in the background here. And this is just a tray. So easy to do that. This I painted and then added glass to it. This is a marble, like one of those flat marbles. A lot of times if you go to the thrift stores, they'll have, or Goodwill, they'll have a bag of these vase filler marbles. People buy them like for their wedding and stuff, and then they just get rid of them. So I usually don't ever pay, I usually don't ever pay full price for these kind of things. What was that fell? Oh, okay. Here is another example. This is where I use those church wine bottles, but you could use any wine bottles. And here's some more of those with the little things. Where did I get the free hymnals? Our St. Vincent de Paul has them sometimes. And then what's the other place? Oh, the charity sale that I go to. And it's only open once a week on Tuesdays, but they have them too. From time to time. And, you just got to keep your eyes out. Facebook Marketplace is another great place to look for stuff like that. Here's another one. This crush is made from bottles. They might have even been beer bottles. I don't know. But do you recognize this? Those are, that's from a milk glass vase, the bud vases. And then I cut that to make it the manger, the part of the manger. And all of these little pieces are just from reclaimed glass. So I try to pick it up wherever I find it, wherever I go. This was an old mirror and it's really thick. It was from like a vintage, like antique thing because the glass on it's really thick, but that's so fun. The wreath shape, actually, I purchased that online. I can't remember the website, but I can give you the link. If you'll send me a message, I'll give you the link for that. But they just have blanks for like door hangers and that kind of stuff. So thank you. Okay. And then this is the one that I'm teaching in my workshop and I pick up frames everywhere I go. I'm kind of like Shelly, like I get the art and I put it in quotation marks because a lot of times it's just like some kind of AI print or whatever. So I pick up the art, I repaint the canvas, or I take the art out of the frame and use the frame. And so this was what I did for our group, for our project. And these are a lot of these are recycled pieces, reclaimed pieces that I used in the butterfly. So you can find glass pretty much everywhere. But in addition to my favorite place to find glass, which is our local charity sale, just telling your friends and family that you're using glass to make art, and if they have colored glass, you'll gladly take it off their hands. People are so willing. I'm like Lucy, it just shows up on my doorstep. I will have bags and boxes of glass shown up. another place is nursing homes. They get tons of colored vases, and then nobody wants to take them home with them, so like the patient's family doesn't want them. I mean, they're just vases. So they sometimes will have a closet of colored glass, or somebody will throw it away. So if you know somebody that works at a nursing home, say, hey, I'll come once a week and pick up the glass if you'll hang on to it for me. So there are so many places to find glass, and recycling glass is actually a very expensive process. So even if your hometown or whatever recycles glass, a lot of times they actually don't. They end up putting it in the landfill. They'll take it, they'll accept it, but then they'll put it back in the landfill. Oh, yes. And sea glass. Oh my gosh. I have so many projects I've done with sea glass. Check out my Facebook page because I have a lot of projects on there that I've done with sea glass. The beautiful thing about the sea glass is once resin is poured over it, it gets bright crystal clear, which is really interesting. But yeah, somebody asked me how I store all my glass. This is a big part of it. These are the little bitty pieces up here. I call them sprinkles or confetti. And then, I have them sorted kind of by color, and marbles and metallics and they're all by color, and somehow I can keep track of it all. But it's so much fun. Oh, you asked, are the edges not sharp? No, they are. But, artwork is to be viewed and not handled a lot of times. So, I mean, they're not so sharp that they'll cut me. Sometimes they can be, but once the resin is poured over it, it kind of dulls down the edge a little bit. And I have one more to show you because we were talking about those little wee yogurt jars. I found this box at the thrift store, and then I used napkins to decoupage. I cut my jars in half and attached them to the front. So this is just a little caddy that I used. I put resin over it so they stayed on there. You don't glue or anything. You just put resin on it. So it's pretty great, the different things that you can do. Isn't it great? I know. I'm so glad you like that, Shelly. So I use this in my studio, and I could have done both sides, but I did it as a project in my membership group. So I had to do it in less than an hour. Okay. I don't wear gloves. There are gloves they're about $10 from Amazon that you can use with your glass, but I'm kind of careful and I don't use gloves. I think playing with glass is not as dangerous as our moms made us think it was. Now, if I'm cutting large jars and things like that on a tile saw, sometimes I have to cut things on a tile saw to get them cut exactly in half. Like this is an example of a bottle that I cut exactly in half. The other one that I showed on this one I just used a hammer and broke it. And then I took the pieces on the back away because I knew I wasn't going to need those. But I understand accident prone, and we do have a lot of ladies in our group that are on blood thinners, and they're just more careful, but yeah, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. My glass collection's a little out of hand, but it's okay. There are other things you could be addicted to that are way worse, right? Oh yeah. I love glass designs too. I'm right there with you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
That was cute. I love the way you have it displayed. Like behind you looks fun.
It is fun.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very much masterpieces. I love it.
Thank you.
Sweet. If you guys have any other questions for them, you can drop it in the chat as you're going. I have 2 recycled things that I'm going to share with you guys. And these are kind of a different recycling. They are items from the thrift stores that have been repurposed to something else. So not necessarily taking something like we would throw away and go in. So this is my milk glass, which she was talking about. And I hang all my earrings on it. And then I have some on the inside too, but I don't want to dump them off. And then I just leave this on top of my dresser. And I turn it around, pick out my earrings every day. And then the other one that I have, also milk glass, is this. And I found them at the dollar store, and they were very, very inexpensive. And this other thing I'm going to show you, I don't know, my mom might be watching, so I have to watch what I'm saying, but she had this tray and she was going to throw it out, and I took it and I made this little Valentine's Day thing. So this is cut with an SEG. So this is actually not paper, it's felt. And then I had these wooden hearts. I think I got them at Hobby Lobby, I want to say, somewhere like that. And then I just painted and glued them in here. And then I took some twine and wrapped it on the edge. But I will drop that in this. So I do have a blog post about this. I wonder if I put that in the comments. I'll come back and drop it if I didn't put that in the comments. But so those are my 2 recycled items. Let's see if we have any questions. How many layers of cardboard is the tree trunk?
Okay. The inside is 1 piece of poster board folded in half, curved, and I taped it down. And then on the outside, it's basically just 1 layer of this brown paper. Wait, I'll show you how I did it. Because kind of mimicking wood is one of my things. Sorry about the crumple sound. So here's the brown paper, and I kind of crumple it so that it's vertical. It's a little finer than that. And then I just paper mache it. And you can use like Mod Podge, or you can make the old-timey paper mache we did when we were little kids, which is mixing flour and water. It takes longer to dry. And so really, I guess you'd call it about 3 layers of paper. But, I mean, it's almost like wood. The base needs to be really sturdy. And so I think that's 3 of the coated cardboard to make a strong base so it'll hold on. But, yeah. And then in terms of, if you're going to paint wood, if you look at it, if you really look at wood or bark, it's layers of color. So I'll do, actually I prime it with gesso, and then I'll do a dark layer, and then I'll kind of highlight some of it. I just let the brush kind of go on top just to highlight. And, I think it looks really bark-like.
It does, very much. That is awesome. Do you use protective glasses or just the ones you have on?
They're the ones I have on because they're so large, but I do have protective glasses for when I have other people in my studio. Honestly, the way that I nip the glass, and I'll just kind of give you a quick thing. Well, I've got it all right here on my table. That's not even the right tool. Sorry. The way that I nip the glass, I hold my nippers like they're scissors, but then when I go to cut it, I turn it upside down. So then any glass that I break is going to fall down. So it really doesn't jump up. It just falls straight down, and I nip into a bin or a cookie sheet or a box or something like that. So it makes it really not as crazy as it sounds. I mean, there's not glass flying everywhere. When I break glass with a hammer, I always cover it so I'm not watching it break. It's, I'm literally covering it with a tarp and then hitting it with a hammer and then lifting the tarp up and seeing what happens. So it's a lot safer than it seems.
That's awesome. Okay, I saw another question here. There we go. Is it better to use Mod Podge or white glue for recycled cardboard?
I use
Lucy,
I use Mod Podge if it's a relatively thin layer. Let me see. But if I'm doing, I don't know, it really doesn't matter unless you're doing something really precision. If you're doing true decoupage, then Mod Podge is the way to go. But if you're just like gluing on slabs of brown paper, white glue works fine. But I usually do Mod Podge because it dries really fast and I need a thin layer. And I don't put a protective layer on it. I think the paint is sufficient. So there, like I said, I usually paint it white with some gesso, and then I'll do the brown layer and then the highlights. So really there are 2 layers of paint on it. Wait, let me show you one other thing that's kind of cool, if I can find it. Yes. Okay, so this one, let me see. Can you see that it's crackle paint or like pseudo crackle paint? To make crackle paint, I paint on either cardboard or cardstock. And then I paint white glue, and I use cheap white glue, not my nice little Bearly Art glue. I use Elmer's glue and Elmer's glue all. And then I paint a color on it, and I think it makes really neat crackle paint, and it's cheap. You know, it's easy to do. So for that, I would use inexpensive white glue.
Awesome.
Can I jump in for a minute real fast?
Yes. Yeah.
I wanted to show, I forgot to show this project earlier, but I wanted to show another fun way I did this project a long time ago. I took a glass bottle. And so here, I'm going to make this bigger so everybody can see. So I like to hang on to bottles like these ones that have lots of flat surface. It's not just round. And then I will use that flat surface as something to paint on. So this is one where I had some chipboard pieces, but then I had gears. I went to IKEA, and they have that area where it's the spare parts. And I grabbed just little odds and ends, or I saved some from when I was building all of this. And I would throw those things on their buttons, just random things. And then you gesso it and paint it and have all kinds of fun. And there's just all kinds of little doodads you can kind of add into just creating some kind of fun pieces of art. Like, look, there's a little turnstile thing up here, paper flowers. I always have so many. I know they're not upcycled, but you can make them upcycled, especially with some of that paper like Lucy was showing. Some of that packing paper would make beautiful flowers that you then can color. And then this is another one where I liked the jar so much because it had all these little pieces, like it already looked that way with the shape of the glass. And so I just turned that into something that I wanted to decorate. So sometimes just looking at your projects in different aspect or looking at that. I love the idea of breaking it up, but I'd be like, and there's lots of comments of people commenting like, no, I couldn't break that. So you don't have to break it if that's just too hard for you, because I think that's too hard for me. I don't know how, like, I get it, like smashing is kind of cool too. But if you're not wanting to break it because it's too cool, you could always just redecorate it and have fun. And this is just glass paint that you can go in and kind of paint. So thought I would bring that up, that you can find little bits of things and kind of Mod Podge them together and almost making like mosaic-y stuff out of those things. So there we go.
That's awesome. I love that too. And there's just so many different, we've talked about like they're all decor, but then there's also things with these jars and these cute things that you've saved that could be the buttons or the other accessories that you need. Oh, I love the little cat ears in the video. My cat used to do that, but he's too old. He just wants to sleep now in the afternoons. That's awesome. Okay, let me look. I thought there was one more. Yes, question for Erin. What kind of paint did you use to paint on that glass jar?
So there's actually a special glass paint. It's from a company called Marabou, but there's lots of different, like Decor has them, Plaid has them. So if you just look up glass paint, some of them are in pen form and some of them you use with a paintbrush, and it gives it that look of that stained glass. It's really pretty. There's so many different brands that have them. Pebeo has it. It depends on if you want to go more craft on the cheaper side, you might have to do a couple of coats, or if you want to go more artist grade like the Pebeo or the Marabou paints, then you just do a single coat. This one was done with, they have pens and they were really nice. They went on beautifully, and so that way I could get into all those little nooks and crannies. But for this one, it was a different kind. This one I used a paintbrush to go in there and make that stained glass look. So it's really cool. Oh, I have another one. What glue did I use to glue the things to the glass? So for this one here, I used a, here, I can actually show it to you. I used like a fabric tack. It's actually their 3-in-1. It was a Beacon 3-in-1 glue. And then when the whole thing was dried, I went back in and then used gesso, and that kind of helped bond it as well. So there's lots of different mixed media type resins, or you can also use, I don't have it in front of me, but there's lots of different types of mixed media pastes that you can use that will harden and seal things in there. If you don't want to have that paste be part of it and you need a thicker coat because it's just too thick to put that on there, then you can jump into like something like this. I tend to stay away from the hot glue because it bubbles up too much and I get the stringies unless I want to have the stringies, but usually I don't like to have the whole stringy look, so I will go for a fast drying wet glue. So again, this is fabric tack. But the Beacon 3-in-1 is fantastic for that as well. So I don't know why you can use it for more than just fabric.
Multi-purpose. All right. I thought I'd throw this up here. I can't wait to see what you make, Deanne. Okay, there was one more question. Lucy.
Yes.
What card did you?
It's just the paint. I glue it down and then it's the paint. I mean, this one is just a layer of cardboard with the little siding. And this is the shingles on the back. And you can hear how sturdy it is. I know everybody, I see these beautiful things people make with cardstock. And I'm like, but you could make something that's going to last, you know? And I mean, if it tips over, it's still going to be okay. So I like to use cardboard and paint, but I like to paint. It's a little messy, but and then obviously I like to do Halloween stuff, partly because if you're messy, I meant to do that, you know? So
yeah, it blends.
yeah, that's so. But anyway, it's just the paint on the cardboard, and the structure kind of makes it strong. So, you know, the most stable structure is a pyramid. And so that top is very sturdy. So adding the roof makes it sturdy and holds everything. So part of it's the structure, but mostly it's cardboard and a layer of paint.
That's awesome. All right, let's see. Jerry says, I'm sorry about your divorce from carbs, Lucy.
Me
It
too.
is. I feel like we all need like a moment of silence, right?
So somebody's asking about what the cheaper glass paints. So Plaid, and they make a ton of different paints. They're probably on more the cheap end, or Decor. They also have inexpensive glass paints comparatively to the higher end paints like Pebeo or Marabou or Golden. A lot of them have those paints. But if you went with either Decor or with Plaid, they would have a cheap glass paint. And just if you just look up glass paint and do an Amazon search, you'll find some.
Awesome. All right, another question.
How do I cut bottles in half? So I use a tile saw. So it's a wet saw. You put water in the bottom of it. You have to do it outside. A wet saw, you put water in it from the hose or whatever, and then you use a diamond blade. So when you use a diamond blade, it cuts right through the glass like butter. It really just grinds the glass. It's not even cutting, but I do this a lot. I usually cut rings. So I cut them into circles and do trees, or use them for tire swings, or use them for wheels, or all kinds of things. So you can do all kinds of stuff. A lot of times, a lot of people in my group get their tile saws from Harbor Freight. They're less than $200. So it's a good investment if you plan on doing stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so fun. And okay, one more question. Gesso versus white paint. I think that's probably.
I'll jump into that one, and then Lucy, she might have a thing. There's actually a few more questions. We can get to a lot of them. It depends on how much time you want to be on here. White gesso has, when it dries, it gives everything a tooth. It allows you to put like sprays and paints and other things. It gives it something to stick to. So a lot of canvases are actually primed with gesso to allow the paint to stick to it so it doesn't slide and move around as much. So a lot of people say it gives it a tooth, and therefore the bonding just works a lot better. So this was actually done without having any paint. It was gesso, and then I used, this is going back a while, Tattered Angels spray mists, and this was all mists. So it's water-based, but it stuck to it, and it was just layers upon layers upon layers. So if you're using a white paint, it tends to be more slick. Oh, what happened? There we go. So the paint won't stick to it as well. It can work, and there's nothing wrong with it, but you know, artist grade, a lot of people like to use the gesso for the grabbiness to allow the paint to stick to it. So there's your non-technical version of how gesso works.
You're grabbing. Okay. Is this rewatchable? Yes, all of the lives are available on Facebook or my Facebook page or YouTube, and you can watch them there. And it's the sessions, like the workshops, those expire every 24 hours throughout the event. But can you recommend clear resin that is on the more cost-effective side?
So the only resin that I will recommend and that I use is art resin, because it's a product made by artists for artists. Before art resin was invented, I used a marine varnish resin and they turn yellow over time. So they also have really, really bad fumes. I have asthma, and this resin doesn't bother me at all. I haven't had to. In fact, my asthma's gotten better since I started using this because I've been doing allergy shots and that kind of thing. So I've asked my doctor about it repeatedly. I don't have to wear a mask. I don't have to. Yeah, I do wear gloves because you don't want that exposure on your skin. But it has no odor. It has no VOCs. It's just a really great product. I don't work for them. I don't get commission from them, but art resin is the only product that I'll ever use. So I can't, that's one place. The way that I save money in doing that is being more cautious with how much resin I pour on my piece. It doesn't require as much as you think it does. Art Resin has a calculator on their website telling you how much resin you're going to need for a project. And I usually mix less than that because they overestimate, which it's a good estimator, but I just try to conserve my resin as much as possible. And that's how I save money in that way, not in buying more, less expensive resin.
That's good. And that's what you're giving away in your giveaway, right?
Yes. I have 3 art resin kits, and I wish I'd brought it over here. I have a little kit of glass sprinkles and little doodads that I'm sending with it as well to help you get started. So
yes. And you can find a link to the giveaways on the main agenda page. So just go to the top, there's a menu bar, and then you can click over to the giveaways tab and you'll find hers in there. Kitty had to make his appearance, right?
Oh, I have one more thing to say. Somebody asked where you buy art resin. I suggest going to artresin.com. You can get it from Amazon, but artresin.com is the official place, and they will send it right away. It's quick shipping. So
yeah. And then you make sure the product is what the product should be.
Right.
Where did you get the cool jar, Erin?
I'm going to assume we're talking about this one here. It was an alcohol I drank. I don't remember which one. It was a whiskey of some kind because I'm a whiskey drinker, hence why I have a whiskey bottle right here. But it was something that was just really cool. So yeah, this was an older whiskey bottle that I got. I do not recall the brand of it at the time, but you can always just go perusing around in the liquor stores and go, ooh, that's a cool bottle. Maybe I'll try that liquor today and have it for a party. And it's just one way to maybe expand. It's the bottle that drove you to wanting to experiment with that particular libation for that day or that month or year, or however long it takes you for that party, perhaps. But unfortunately, I don't remember specifically which bottle that came from. I do remember this one was a, what was this one? This one was a maple syrup bottle. So there you go.
You need more reasons to eat more and drink more, right? All right.
We talked about if you don't drink, so somebody made a comment, very cool, but I don't drink. Ask your friends, like if you're like, hey, do you have any cool bottles? So if you don't personally want to drink, or if you're not, we talked about like how Lucy, and that you just mention it to your friends. Maybe there's an upcycle page or a free cycle page in your neighborhood and say, I'm looking for cool bottles, specific colors, designs on them. You never know what's going to show up at your front door, or, go peruse other places, recycling areas and things like that. So just if you don't drink them, maybe it could be a gift and be like, can I have the bottle when you're done, and get it back, It's kind of a weird way of doing it, but you never know.
Right. Gift it to somebody and then be like, I'll take your trash when you're done. Yeah, too funny. Okay, we have a question here for Elizabeth again.
Okay, so the only issue with the diamond art, because we've talked about this in my group before, the thing that makes the diamond art sparkly are the facets on the top of the little bead, or whatever they're called, the drill or whatever it's called. So the little facets on the top is what makes it sparkly. So if you pour resin on that, you're covering up those facets. So you're essentially making it kind of not sparkly. It would be sparkly because of the resin, but it's not going to catch the light in the same way. A lot of times if we use rhinestones or things like that, we'll put those on at the end of our resining. So we'll pour our resin and then we'll put the thing with the facet on and just kind of set it into the resin so the resin isn't covering the little piece. Does that make sense? So you don't want to cover something that has facets with resin because then it won't sparkle. But you could definitely give it a shot. Try it on just, I know you've got those extra little things. Put it on a little piece of paper, put a little resin on it and see if it gives you the desired result. It may, but I don't think it will.
Okay, thank you. That's a good idea. Go to those restaurants, bars.
Yeah.
And ask. And then somebody else said your recycling center, you could go through and pick through the glass area. And then also the thrift stores, you could go and tell them, like, if you have chipped glass or broken glass, I mean, they would more than happy give it to you. Way to go, Erin, on using your own stash or drinking to your own stash. I don't know how that goes, whatever. Yard sales, that's another fun place. They have a sealer for diamond art. There you go. Look at, we've all learned something today. Buy nothing groups. Yeah, VFW. All right. Oh. Yes. I'm sure that if you were to start doing like resin glass art, you could probably like forever like seal that cat hair into the and it would be like a memory piece, right?
For sure.
I even have like vinyl shirts that I've made that have cat hair in them, and I've just left it on there because I'm like, if you pull it off, it could tear the vinyl, so I just leave it on. But
just leave it.
Yeah. Sweet. Okay. All right. So to part ways, is there anything that you want to make sure that the audience hears about? You guys have stuff coming up. So why don't we just go around the circle again? Erin, do you want to go first? And yeah, give a shout out to what you have coming up or where they can find you.
We got to do the crazy muting so we don't have the echoey effect. Sorry if you're hearing any of that. So I actually have an event coming up. It's an in-person makers retreat that I host every year. I actually have my sweatshirt on for my first year. And we have some amazing classes. It's a lot of a variety of different types of projects. We're doing mixed media, we're doing home decor projects, we're doing card making. We have more than just one educator. We have 3 educators. And that is live over on my site right now. And we have a whole house where you can come and you can stay. It's at the end of August or the end of July into the beginning of August. It's for a whole weekend. Food is included, libations are included, all your craft supplies are included, your stay is included, but you have an option if you'd rather go stay at a hotel. There's a couple that are just like a mile away that you can drive into. It's in Texas, it's in Dripping Springs. There's only 14 spots open. Everybody gets their own 6-foot craft table, and it is just a weekend long retreat, a little bit more of a weekend long. It's like a Thursday to a Sunday, or you can have an extra day on either end if you want to add those in to give yourself even more time away. And it is just a ton of fun. So there's lots of giggling and laughing, and I do all the food. You can just stay there and walk around in your jammies all weekend and just mingle and have fun with your friends, make new friends, and then just craft and have a ton of fun. So if you're interested in joining into that amazing craft retreat where everything is included, you just have to get there, and once you're there, all of it's there for you. Then take a look at the link. All of our links that we're talking about are going to be down in the information section. So it's called the Makers Retreat, and it's new for 2025. So I'd love to have you.
I'm muted. So you do projects. You have the projects prepared for them. They don't bring their own stuff. Hold on. Let me
do your own creative and like chill time. It's kind of built in where you have your downtime, but we do have dedicated classes. And so I teach 3 classes. Our other 2 educators also teach 3 classes. So you're getting 9 craft classes over the course of the long weekend, but there is time to do your own things as well. So it's a lot of fun. And again, we play with a lot of different projects. It's not all the same thing. And if you've come from one year previous, the next year is totally different. So more of going to be revealed very, very soon. So you're getting on the inside. It just got released. It just got put out there. And I will have to say, there's already 3 seats that I just posted this like 4 days ago, and 3 seats are already gone. So it's in the end of July, and they're going to go fast. So if you want to get in on an amazing event, you got to sign up quick.
And do you bring your own tea?
I do. For one of the mornings, we have mimosas. I also we have a charcuterie board for our first opening evening, and I have a drink that's a Deep Eddy vodka. It's literally like a mile down the road, so we have a Deep Eddy drink that we do. And then I also do margaritas on our taco night, because I make pulled pork tacos. They're really, really good. But if you want to have a specialty drink, or if you want to have anything special on top of that, you can bring that. So I always say, bring your own wine, and we end up opening them all up, and we have a ton of fun. And there's snacks provided, and it's just tons and tons of fun. So. And all that fun stuff.
Oops. Okay, sorry I cut you off there at the end, but then I got you back on. So that's awesome. Thanks. And if I dropped a link in as we were chatting, but like she said, they're above and below. We had one more question for Elizabeth, and then do you want to jump into yours too?
Sure. Okay. Somebody asked the difference between UV resin and just regular resin. UV resin requires a UV light to cure it. So it cures very quickly, like, within a minute or 2 minutes or whatever, but you have to have a UV light. So the big projects that I do, some of my artwork is 4 feet by 6 feet. Like, I do really large pieces, and some of my pieces are really small. UV resin is just not practical for me in that aspect. And it also does have a little bit of an odor, and I don't want to do that. So regular resin is what I always use. It takes usually about 8 hours to cure art resin. So I pour the last thing of the day, and then I close my studio door, and my 150-pound dog does not come in here to get his dog hair on everything. I turn off the vents and all of that stuff because I don't want all that dust in the resin. So, okay. So what do I have going on? I have a Glass Collage Makers membership group, and it's open right now for new members. We have over 250, I think my VA would know, but I think we have almost 300 projects in that group, tutorials with supply lists, and a lot of times also a template if you need a template to create. So we have everything from this project to the champagne bottle project to all of the ones that I showed you are all in that group, except for the wreath. I did that in collaboration with my friend Jen. We had that this year for Christmas. I do projects with her usually 2 or 3 times a year. But my glass group is open now. It's only $29 a month. So if you break that down, I do 1 class a week. So what is that, $7.50 a class? I don't know anywhere where you can take an art class for $7.50. So all of those are in there. Oh, thank you for popping that up there. I appreciate that. And I also, a little plug for my watercolor group. I also have a watercolor group as well. And it's Watercolor Without Rules. We paint 1 watercolor painting a week, and we just have so much fun. Sometimes they're 3D projects. Sometimes they are just paintings. We do all kinds of stuff in there. So I'd love for you to join us.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here. We appreciate it. I think your stuff is just so stunningly beautiful.
Thank you. So kind. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Lucy, tell us what you got going on. Oh, let me unmute you. Hold on. Okay, go.
Okay. I don't have a group or anything. I don't have a live thing, although I've thought about it because I think it would be fun to get together and make little houses with people that they become your friends online and stuff. But one of these days I'll do that. But mostly my big thing is my wreath workshop. And for this event, I made the birdhouse wreath. You can see that over there where I just painted birdhouses, which is and they're wooden birdhouses, which is really weird for me. But I also made over here, if you have the VIP ticket, I made, they're like Valentine houses, and I did them on a wreath. But my big wreath workshop, I call it the Alpine Village Wreath Workshop, are sort of designed to look like they're from the Alps and sort of Swiss looking houses. And it's a workshop, and it's, a bargain. It's $37. And I show you how to make each individual house, but also show you how to add them to the wreath so that they're sturdy and they don't, and if you don't like them because they're wired on, that's basically what I do is I wire them on with big floral wire. You can take them off and you can do them for different seasons, or maybe you want your village on a mantle rather than on a wreath. But I think the advantage of doing it on a wreath is that you've got this great display and it doesn't take up table space, or it doesn't block all this kind of horizontal space. It's vertical. So it's my Alpine Wreath workshop. Yes, and I do a live every Monday, and I always have to come up. This kind of replaces it this week, but I always try to come up with some new project for every Monday, usually things I've done in the past. But I've been at this. I've had a blog since what I call a real blog since 2018, and they're like 400 projects on my website. So you tend to forget about the really old ones. So I'm trying to get back to them, but it's on my YouTube channel, paperglitterglue.com.
How long is your workshops, Lucy?
I
I
think they're like, I don't remember exactly how many videos. I think they're about 20 total videos, but there's one for each house. So there are 12 houses, but there's also how to set it up in Cricut Design Space, how to attach them, how to design them, how to kind of zhuzh up your wreath. So it's not, because some of these cheap wreaths, and you pretty much have to buy a cheap one because you're buying a big one. And the greenery is really boring. That's one reason the cat is on the table, because she likes the plain greenery. She doesn't like pine, but she likes the plain greenery. That's what she's trying to get to, is the greenery. And so they're like 20 different videos, but it's 12 basic patterns for the houses. So.
All right. Awesome. Okay. Thank you, Terry. She said she liked my hair. Betsy says her Alpine workshop is good. So there you go. Testimonials. I just can't believe that they're paper. When I was looking at them, and I was like, wait, what did she do with these? Blows my mind. Sweet. Okay. I was just looking through the comments. Did you see any more, Erin? I think we're good. Just a lot of I Love Lucy. Love it. All right. So so we still have the free sessions going on today for day one. We have the upgrade. So just a couple of housekeeping things. We'll see if a couple more. I think there's some delay, or when people come on, I think they can start watching it right away. I thought when they came on, they'd have to watch it, but I'm seeing some delayed comments. So we'll see if we get a couple more. But if you are like, you know what, I can't get everything in, I can't get to the workshops I want to watch, you can still grab the VIP ticket. I'm going to put the link here. This is on sale. Normally it's $97. It's on sale for $57. You get that workshop that Lucy had talked about that she has in there. And then you get all the replays from the event. Plus there's a bonus pack, and it's about $700 worth of bonuses and just extra crafting things, digital files, those kind of things. Elizabeth said, what resin do you use without a mask?
I use art resin, and I don't wear a mask.
Okay.
And it is A-okay.
Sweet. Good. Okay. Thank you. And then the VIP is on sale until Friday, the 31st. So you have a couple days, but it's nice. And then you can go in. The nice thing too about the VIP is it'll keep track of what you watched. So if you're like, I don't remember if I watched this, then you're clicking back and forth. So it gives you that little check mark when you watch them. All right. Our next one up is flower power. So we're going to talk about things that you can use to make flowers. That one starts at 2 p.m. So you get about 30 minutes. I'm going to go finish my lunch and then jump back in. And I think, let me see, if you're watching this and you don't actually have a free ticket. So we have some giveaways going on. Again, you have until noon on Friday that you can go in and enter all these giveaways. So you might win Elizabeth's resin art kit or those kind of things. But it looks like it's giving me an error. It's trying to post a comment to Facebook. Okay. So again, you have until Wednesday for the giveaways. And then you have every day at 10 o'clock. Make sure you go back to that main summit page and refresh. And then it'll give you the day. So then you go to that day's link, or just click in your email. It'll go right to the day 2 or day 3, whatever we're on. And then make sure you scroll down. So there's the live session scrolling through those and then you'll find them. Okay. I think that was it. That was just quite a few of the emails. If you have a VIP and you never got the email, then please go, you know what? I'm going to drop that right here. If you already have it, I think we put it in the chat, but just in case. So there is a special dashboard. You log into your VIP one. So I'm going to put that there. All right. Any questions about the summit, please just email us at hello@wecanmakethat.me. We will get back to you as soon as we can. And I hope you guys are having a fantastic time. And thank you, ladies, Erin, Lucy, and Elizabeth, for joining me. It's been fun chatting.
Thank
It's
you.
been great.
I feel like we kind of end up in our own little circles, right? And then it's just nice to see other people doing what we're doing and then have those crafting conversations. So that's awesome. Did we miss anything? Anybody have anything else they wanted to add?
I don't think so.
All right.
This
Well,
was
thank you.
awesome. Thank you, Shelly.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. And then don't forget, tomorrow we have another 3 lives. So those will be fun. We have some coffee chats where I have some really fun questions that I'm going to throw at the speakers that are on there. So that'll be fun. And yeah, I think that's it. Let's go watch some workshops and we'll come back here in about 30 minutes.
All right. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.